right, full transparency. I'm struggling a little bit trying to figure out how to get into today's cruise news. I was going to start by sharing a story from my youth, from when I was in high school in Nashville, Tennessee, a pretty kind of blushy, embarrassing story about a female teacher that kind of showed a whole classroom something that she did not want to show them, and it turned out to be embarrassing on both sides. It's a great story for sure. I will tell it, but I don't think I can tell it at the beginning. I'll tell it later in the show. So I still need a way to start. Let me try to start the show like this. I believe it was Bill Shakespeare who said, "What is in a name? That which we call a rose by any other word would smell as sweet." But that sentiment, what is in a name, it's really the substance of a thing that makes a thing, right? Well, maybe not right, because all of our cruise ships have names and we associate the way we feel about cruise ships because of names. And well, that's a long way of saying Royal Caribbean just announced the name of their newest cruise ship that will be in the Icon class. And I found the name to be interesting. Today's episode of Cruise News and My Views, it's almost like a star is born. I got a pile of cruise news. Cruise news and my views. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to La Lido Loca. I am your host, Tony. Some would say the star of Cruise News and My Views by default. But yes, a star is born, and I do have some cruise news stories for you. The first cruise news story has to do with a Pacific Explorer who had some trouble on the Pacific and ended up getting rescued by another Pacific Explorer. Clear as mud. What I'm talking about is there is a young man from Brisbane, Australia, 24-year-old Tom Robertson, that had a grand idea that he would take a small boat from the coast of Peru, 8,000 miles back to his homeland, to Cairns, Australia, and he was going to do it solo. He was a solo cruiser on a small craft, and things went well. He left Peru sometime last year, but just a few days ago, he had to signal his distress beacon as his small craft was overtaken by a wave in the Pacific Ocean, and he was in trouble. He signaled his distress beacon. A French aeroplane from New Caledonia, I believe, saw him, and then they notified the authorities, and guess who was engaged to save the young man's life? Well, it was the P&O cruise ship Pacific Explorer. Get it? Pacific Explorer. So the young man was saved, he was rescued, he was returned to land, he's been able to communicate with his family, and they've released a statement to those concerned, which now includes us, that he is okay and that his journey is over, but the kid is safe and sound. The kid, Tom Robinson, now we know his name, he's a star in his own right. Cruise news story number 2. Do you know the Disney Cruise Line? Do you know Disney, when we wish upon a star? Makes no difference who you are. Well, they've got an iconic delivery happening for their newest cruise ship, the Disney Treasure. That is what the Disney Treasure just got their second funnel. Look at this thing without all of the accoutrements on it. Its second funnel delivered over there to the shipyard in Germany, to the Meyer Werft shipyard, ready to get all funneled up with funnel number 2. That's exciting. All you Disney fans waiting for the Disney Treasure to come out. Now let's move on to the star story of this episode. But before we do that, let me quickly invite you to subscribe. If you want to be a cruise news star yourself, if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in cruising, well, there's really only one way to do it. You have to stay in the know, and the easiest path to staying in the know is being a part of the notification squad. How, pray tell, do you do that? All you do is hit the subscribe button with the notification bell on, and YouTube will shoot you a notification when the show comes out. They'll be like, look, star, the show is out, so go watch it. Stars. All right, Royal Caribbean dropped a huge announcement yesterday giving us a timetable and a name for the follow-up ship to the Icon of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship. It will be the world's largest cruise ship, and now they're already telling us the date and the name of the next iteration of the Icon of the Seas. Have you done some divination? Have you called a friend? Have you read the horoscope? Have you looked to the stars to figure out what the new name is? Yep, you got it. It is Royal Caribbean's Star of the Seas. Star of the Seas is set to debut in the summer of 2025, and I'm sure Royal Caribbean is hoping that it will sell as well as the Icon of the Seas. The Icon of the Seas, the bookings right now, hard to get a booking, and when you do get an opportunity for a booking, it is pricey. They are charging you like you are a rock star on that. And did you guys catch the interesting thing about this new name, Star of the Seas? Let's break it down with our fingers. Icon of the Seas, ICON, 4 letters, and Star of the Seas, STAR, 4 letters. 4 letters. It'd be interesting if this is a new trend. And so the assignment I'm giving you today is, what is your best 4-letter cruise name? Of course, the obvious choice, LOCA, Loca of the Seas, 4 letters. Maybe even less humble, we could call it the TONY, the Tony of the Seas. And then, of course, the double obvious choice is LUDA, the Luda of the Seas. What do you think a good 4-letter cruise ship name is? Do you think there's 10 great 4-letter cruise ship names out there that the whole Icon class could just be 4 letters? That would be kind of nifty, I think. I don't know. And then, of course, that's been swirling around my brain this morning. And the other thing swirling around my brain, in addition to the story about my 9th grade teacher in Romeo and Juliet, which I will share with you in a second, the other thing that's been swirling around, like, what's my favorite song that has stars in it, right? A Star is Born, what a great movie. I don't think they say star in the songs, but Shallow, what a great song. I'm falling, and in the good times I find myself a longing for change. Ah, man, Bradley Cooper did such a great job in that. And of course, we can't forget the ludicrous classic, Starman. There's a starman waiting in the skies. He'd like to come to meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. Either way, what's your favorite song that has star in it now? Now, let me tell you about my 9th grade English class where we watched the feature film Romeo and Juliet with Olivia Hussey as Juliet. And I don't know who else was in the movie because it was Olivia Hussey that I remembered. There's an interesting scene in that movie where Romeo and Juliet are able to consummate their love, let's say. And well, if you're unfamiliar, during that scene in the movie, Juliet is a sans blouse, if you know what I'm saying. And the teacher knew that. And so she was going to shield our 14-year-old eyes, boys and girls together, 14-year-old eyes. She was going to shield it. And so she took a white piece of paper and she placed it upon the TV. And she looked at us with pride because she had sheltered us from what is probably one of the most human things possible, our own bodies. And she was proud until somebody giggled. It had to be a dude, right? Somebody giggled. And when she looked at the TV, well, it became apparent that her attempt to shield had not really shielded. It had more accentuated because you could see right through the paper. It's stuff like that that really makes me love life and the human condition. As an older person now in my 50s, and I'm sure I had this epiphany in my 30s and 40s, look, we're all just people just trying to do the best that we can to do the best that we can. And sometimes it's roses and sometimes it's boobs in front of a 9th grade class. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend. I hope you're doing well. I do have a health update. I'm going to throw that over on Have to Lose. I went to the cardiologist yesterday. Mixed results, but yeah, I'll talk more about that on that other forum. Maybe today or tomorrow with an update. But thank you guys for checking out the show today. I hope you're doing well. This is Tony for La Lido Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye. Cruise News.